Hey everyone, how are you doing? Another video, and this time I bring some information about Alexstraza and Hanzo, the two next heroes that are going to be added to the Nexus. Now, I had a pretty long day of HGC games, Heroes Global Championship, at the analysis desk, of course. So we saw some awesome matches, Fnatic, MVP Black, Expert, Ballistics, absolute firecrackers of games, and it was really fun. Spoiler coming up. MVP Black won, fantastic, deserved winner. Spoiler end, it's all good, it's all good. Back in my hotel room now, and luckily, the players had the courtesy to end the games early enough. So we actually got the chance to try out Alexstraza and Hanzo. Now, I didn't really have any time to check out any of the talents or abilities yet. So it was pretty much just, oh, we got time, we finished the finals early. Let's go into the heroes, playing area and try it out. Now, you may or may not yet have checked out the interwebs about Alexstraza's abilities and talents. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But I'm going to assume that maybe you haven't. So I'll try to tell you as much as what I perceived so far, my initial impressions about Hanzo as well. So the one I wanted to play the most, to start things off with, was Alexstraza. And what we have seen in the trailer, if you haven't seen it yet, you can check it out in a link in the description. Alexstraza actually turns into a dragon, so I wanted to know if that's true. Unlike, Grubby, who mostly has the simulacrum of a dragon flying around sometimes, the shadow or what have you. So yes, she turns into a dragon. So if I get any details like too wrong, don't be angry. It was like 2 games I played and I'm still figuring out the abilities, but here's pretty much how I understand the Alexstraza works. So you've got the Q, W, and the E, right? The 3 abilities. So Q is a heal that takes a percentage of your own life away as Alexstraza. She's a ranged support, by the way. And you can instantly target heal one of your allies. It doesn't work on yourself. After all, you're taking life force away from yourself to give it to an ally. So that's her Q. I think it's on something like a 10-second cooldown, if I remember correctly. Anywhere, something around that. Then she has a W, which is a targeted heal, much like Anna's slowly detonating grenade, the one that you can talent into it for. So it's like, choose an area, and 3 seconds later, in that area, everyone gets healed for 20% of their max health, which is pretty cool. As far as I know, that's the first max health percentage healing. There's max health, shield, of course, storm shield, 20%. This is 20% healing. So everyone needs to be in that area at the time where this glyph, this rune explodes, and then healing happens. It doesn't affect the enemy, but they do know where it is, so they can play and counter play against it. And then of course you can talent into that. Then her E is a 2-second cooldown spammable fire breath, fireball thing. And the cool thing about it, it's unique as far as I know in Heroes of the Storm. The first one does almost no damage, but they are on fire for a bit. I think they take damage over time, but it's like really little. It's like, I don't know, like 20 damage, 7 damage over time, something like that. But then they're marked. And if you fireball them again, they take a crit that is far in excess of the initial damage. So that's where it really comes down to. And it's only on the second hit that they also get slowed. I believe it's 40%. So that's pretty cool. Very spammable, extra damage, and the slow. Then you've got 2 heroics. One heroic is you disappear, you become untouchable, invincible, which is great. You can use it like an escape. And then for about, I feel like I read 2 seconds, but it was definitely longer, so that's not true. It feels like during a period of about 6 to 8 seconds, fireballs will land, about 4 to 5 fireballs that do like 444 damage, and they heal for half of that in that area. So, and it looks like this. So every time the circle is full, that's when you know the fireball is going to land. So you'll be harassing some people with it, you'll be healing your allies, and then the final circle thing is where Alexstraza will end up. It has a pretty big radius. You'll do it from your own backline, and sure enough, soon as you know it, you'll be fireballing some Vala. And then at the very end, make sure to point your cursor back again. That's where you'll land. Very unique interaction. I think it's cool, and it seems very powerful as well. The second heroic is a kind of life link. It reminds me most of the Spirit Walker's Spirit Link from Warcraft 3. The way it works is this. You choose one of your allies, and you link your life force to them. After 2 seconds, whoever has the least HP will be brought back up to the amount of HP that the ally has. I believe it's percentage based. So it allows for some cool interactions where either the person you cast it on can be very greedy, risky for 2 seconds long, drop very low, and then as long as you stay healthy, whoop, they're all the way back up again. Or, you know, vice versa. You as Alexstraza can jump in and do the same thing. Now that's pretty cool, and I heard at level 20, I didn't get there, it gets upgraded to happen 3 times. 2 seconds, whoop, back up to full, back up to full, back up to full. So that's pretty cool. And then arguably the coolest thing on Alexstraza is her trait. It's called Dragon Queen. Cooldown 150 seconds, but you can talent it to something that reduces its cooldown. You turn into a dragon, which is pretty badass. Your E becomes a pushback, fire or wing sweep thing that deals damage and pushes back. She gains a relentless effect, CC reduction. And Alexstraza's dragon version W does greatly increased healing and radius. No damage. And I kept aiming it for the opponent every single game. I'm wondering why they didn't move out or where my damage numbers were. And then her Q is still the same thing. Single target, targeted heal, but on a much shorter cooldown. And it also no longer takes HP away from herself when she casts it. You'll stay in that Dragon Queen form for a period of time, like, you know, between Archon and Odin duration. And then you have auto attacks that cleave in a big area. Fire Breath. They also heal your allies, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if you can target and attack your allies if there are no opponents, but it's like the residual effect of Fire Breathing on minion waves, structures, or enemy heroes that also happen to hit your allied heroes. Overall, really cool hero. Got to play her twice, tried both heroics. You know, people in generally, they think she's strong. You know, this is just Blizzcon build. Who knows what's gonna happen, but graphically, very cool. Couldn't hear the sound too well because I also got to try out the new voice chat function. And you know, no one was toxic. It was at BlizzCon, so you know, a lot of cool people, and yeah, I think it was very fun. You never know how it's gonna shake out once you get to the hero leagues, but you can always still mute someone or change their volume if you don't like what they're saying. But overall, I'm excited about voice chat coming as well. Cautious but excited, and let's see how it works out. We may or may not use it on the stream or in the YouTube videos. We'll see if it's you know, as a streamer, an enriching experience, or if people are gonna like do screamers or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. But I enjoyed it here. Sorry I didn't get to hear Alexstraza's voice lines too much either. But graphically, very nice. Alright, and then I got to try out Hanzo. I was more interested actually to try out Alexstraza because, you know, Warcraft universe, and I read the books about her with Richard A. Knock, you know, Day of the Dragon and everything. So you know, I like this hero a lot. I played Hearthstone. I bring life. But Hanzo actually, you know, I never played with him in Overwatch, but he turned out to be really enjoyable as well. Hanzo, again, of course, 3 basic abilities. His Q, to me, felt a little clunky, but then I did actually get more comfortable with it, but of course completely unused to it. So first of all, his Q is like a Nova Snipe that winds up over a period of 4 seconds, and then you can hold it. Once you release, it's a targeted attack. It's like a snipe. It felt a little low damage to me. It's on a bit longer cooldown. You can move while you charge it up, but it doesn't deal enough damage to really merit, in my opinion, such a long period of not doing anything. I haven't tested if you can auto attack during it, but I don't think so, because you're using the arrow to aim, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it wasn't that high damage, but the cool thing is I talented into a talent at level 4, that allowed me to do a splash damage to a minion wave, which made my wave clear a lot better, because it wasn't that good to begin with. He's a ranged assassin, so generally that is pretty important. So that is what it is, and then his E is like a flare, like Rexar flare basically, but it has a few components. It's a pretty slow traveling one. If you hit someone, you deal damage actually. It's not a damage spell in particular, and it's not a lot of damage, but if you hit someone with it, it deals damage. You can cast it from pretty far away, and it has a big radius, and it's an 8-second reveal, 20-second cooldown. So if you hit someone, not only does it deal like 100-200 damage, it also stays on them, you know, like, flare on my shoulder, get it off. And the vision of it follows them, rather than staying on a stationary place on the ground. That's pretty cool. His auto attack range is rather long, as far as I know. I think I heard it was 7.5. I didn't really become cognizant of it in the test game that I played, but that's what I've heard, so rip-brainer. And then his W is a scatter shot. Now scatter shot is like pretty long distance skill shot that will ignore minions or impact on heroes or ricochet off of walls and terrain. And including buildings, I think. It ricochets off buildings as well, including ruins of buildings as far as I know, but I'm not sure about that one. Once it careens off of a structure, it will split into like 6, I think, into fairly significant damage. And those split shots, which goes in a fan shape, also split again off against the walls. It's a pretty long total traveling distance, to the point where when you play on Tomb of the Spider Queen, it was so bouncy that if you shoot at the base station, it went like pew, pew, pew. That was pretty cool, you know. It's easy to hit people and to interrupt the base station. The thing is, that the interesting thing about it, if you directly impact an enemy hero, and this is also where lies the counterplay against Hanzo, it doesn't do all of that damage of the ricochet. It's like almost nothing. It's like 100, 150, 200 damage. Whereas if you get, you know, good split shot, scatter shot is a lot more. I don't know how it works in Overwatch, or if that's a good port or translation. Leave a comment in the section below, I'll read it. But that was interesting, because I thought maybe it'll do extra damage, but it didn't. Then, about halfway through in the game, I recognized he has a trait as well, which is basically like Genji Dash, but it only works over walls. So you can use it as a mobility, but only if the wall happens to be between you and your mark. Then you get closer faster. It has a pretty good travel time. But that's a limitation, so that's pretty cool. And then his heroics. I didn't try one of the heroics because I only got to play him once. But I saw it, it's that dragon thing. And then like 2 dragons fly. Sorry, my Japanese is a little rusty. On account of never having learned anything. And then there's the other alt, which is a global arrow. The total travel distance is global, so infinity, so it's off the map. And it's like pretty fast traveling. I think about the speed of orbital hammer, you know, the orbital BFG. And then it stuns as well. Decently good damage and a stun. So it was a really easy and cool tool actually to like get 2-3 runners, and people are like, oh, they're gone. Like, got the arrow, and you can get some cool kills. So that was really fun as well. And that was my Hanzo experience, and I'm actually looking forward to playing him. Now, there wasn't that many voice lines of him yet, so I don't know if Blizzard has said anything about it, but it looks like Alexstraza will be first, and then Hanzo. She looked more finished in that sense, in the voice line tab, but again, not sure. So that was my experience playing these 2 new heroes. Hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about them. And then finally, the new changes. I'm just going to summarize them for you. I have played with them because they were active here, but you may not be familiar with them yet, so let me introduce them. Big changes are coming to the gameplay of Heroes of the Storm, and the development team keeps looking to see how they can make certain parts of the game more interesting. Whether they succeed or not is something that we will find out in due time, but we can start to think about it a little bit already. And again, I'd like to hear your thoughts about the various different changes that they're going to be making. There's a lot of, I know, smart people out there who probably have more mobile experience than me, who may know how these things may have ramifications on the gameplay. But here's a few things. I'm going to do a list, then I'll talk about some of them. Number one is they're going to zoom out your POV camera on the game just a tad. Somewhere between 10 and 20%, I believe. So as a player, you're going to be able to see more. Everything will get a little smaller, but you get more overview of a battle. Nice, since Grubby is there. Then there is no more ammunition on towers and forts. The removal of the third inside tower next to forts and keeps. Forts and keeps get true sight, just like the core already has, which means seeing invisible and cloaked things. Cloaked heroes become more visible, removing the necessity of having good graphical settings or indeed good eyes to detect it. It means that pretty much anyone will be able to see cloaked heroes moving, while keeping the component of being unable to auto-attack these stealth heroes unless you first reveal them with an area of effect ability. So cloaked will be as it is, but easier to spot. In return, because this will of course make them weaker, cloaked heroes will get two things. Either a bit of a rework, a bit of a buff, and what they also definitely get is the fact that if they stand still for 1.5 seconds or more, they will turn invisible entirely. So pre-positioning will become important for them. They will be a ganker in that sense, but it would only be if you move to an area that hasn't been spotted for a while and you don't use vision tools. How do you think it's going to work out? Let me know. For me, my initial opinions, without actually having played against cloakers, because God bless the people here at the convention didn't go abuse poor noobs with cloaked heroes too much. Actually, there was one guy on my team, he went zero tool, but he lost, so he got what was coming to him. Right, Chris? I lost too. But my initial thoughts about it is that it's really good that cloak becomes more visible, because I don't actually enjoy having to tell people on my stream always, Valera is bad, Nova is bad. And they're like, oh, no, Valera always kills me. Or maybe they're too embarrassed to admit. And of course, it's true, they will. And many people either do not have the vision, or the graphic settings, or the experience to see cloak. And I don't think that's a fun gameplay interaction. And this is, why I've never enjoyed the fact that Valera or Nova at pro play see no play. And at Grandmaster, you see some play, but they shouldn't. They're not that good, but they will get wins if people play bad. But then they're pub stompers. So my hope is less pub stomper, more viability, and tactical play and counterplay, more so than like the fact that, I don't know, people forget that they exist and can't see them. I'm not sure about the invisibility thing, actually. I would need more info. Right now I'm skeptical, but I'm willing to see how it works out. And then the fact that they get buffs to compensate, I think that's a good thing. Because although at Blizzcon, the official tournament, 57 out of 73 heroes were used, which is a pretty good rate. The cloakers were almost notoriously absent, outside of Zeratul and Samura. So I think that's nice to get more viability. The zoom out, 100% agree. I've actually been silently advocating for it. It's definitely something I've wanted, but you don't know if it's possible mechanically or if the team wants to do it. Very happy about the zoom out. We get to see more, and hopefully some observer improvements as well. Because anytime we observe tournaments, we already zoom out so that you can see more, and it can be a disconcerting feeling to have that kind of zoomed in feel when you then play your own games, lack that overview. I think that's only a good thing. The only thing you lose out really is maybe crisp details on some of the hero models, mats or sprays. I don't think that's as important as nice and proper gameplay. So I think that's a great one. The loss of ammunition alongside on towers and the fact that they can always shoot, stronger lane minions and different regeneration globe control, namely if my globe doesn't get picked up fast, it turns neutral and you can take it. That means there's 2 regeneration globes per lane minion clash, for the victor if you zone me out of it. There's some play and counterplay there. That does sound like an interesting interaction, but I don't have all the consequences and yeah, what it means yet. But there were some cool posts on Reddit about it. People already started to theorize. I read a cool one by Everyday Fun Hots, I believe. He said, yeah, I'm a high-level solo laner, and this is how I think it will shake out. So I encourage you to try and check that out on Reddit if you can. Very insightful, I think. And right after BlizzCon, the PTR should be going live for a period of 3 weeks. So I do encourage everyone to check it out. You can just switch your region on the Battle.net launcher, and then you can switch to PTR, the public test realm, and then you can try out some of these changes on a quick match and see how it works out. Hypothesize a bit, and definitely read and talk about it. So laning changes are going to happen in that sense as well, and I hope it's going to be, I hope it's going to be good. I already love the game, but it's always nice to get improvements. I didn't know 2 years ago that it would be great to stop the absolute numbers bonus scaling per level, and it became 4%. That's a long time ago now, but it was a really good change. So we'll see. Change can be scary, but it might be good. Alright, yeah, that was most of the changes that I remember so far that I got to test. For the rest, very eager to get back to the stream. Next stream day should be November 13th. We're gonna make some new content again. We're gonna try out the PTR. We're gonna play some more Heroes of the Storm, ranked, or indeed any of the new heroes. I'm looking forward to it already, but first I'm gonna go embark on a bit of a road trip here in US, a little small vacation. So right after that, when I come back, looking forward to see y'all again. Met a lot of cool people here at BlizzCon. Some of you came to the ASUS ROG meet and greet, both on the Saturday and Friday. Lots of lovely people. Thanks for coming out, and I had a really good time. Nice talking to everyone. I'll see you guys next year at the BlizzCon. And for all of you at home, see you very soon. Cheers. Bye-bye. Runic Glass, cooldown, Runic Gauntlet, basic attack. Heroics. Oh wow, okay. I think I interrupted everything.
A killing blow.
Nice.